to get started. So, whether it's your first time here or you are a returning visitor, feel free to say hello. I always love to hear from the students we have in the live stream. But of course, if you want to sit back and relax and enjoy the lesson, you're free to do that as well. Tonight, we are talking about how to think about music creatively. And Rich asks, how was your week? It wasn't bad. Things are getting back to normal and going back to, well, I've been back to lessons for a while, but just kind of getting back into the swing of things, developing lessons, coming up with lessons ideas. I made the schedule over on our community page, pianolessonsontheweb.com/community, and you can see actually, we'll go there right now before we start here, in case anybody is new to the live streams or in case you just want to know. Let's see. So if you go to my website and then you click on community here at the top, it takes you to the community page. By the way, if you text the word piano to 43506, you'll get a reminder of when we are meeting here for the live stream. But if you scroll down, you will get a calendar of what we're talking about. So tonight we're talking about how to think about music creatively. This morning we had it actually wasn't a chord trainer, it was a note trainer live stream that we had with just Academy students. I actually forgot to post it up on Patreon, but I will do that next week. So Patreon students are welcome to that as well. But we do have our normal Friday streams. And then it looks like we have a community Q&A for Sunday. And then you can read the rest yourself. I just wanted you to be aware of the calendar. Hello, everybody. Ryan is back. Hello, Ryan. Glad to have you with us. And then we have some new folks. Milani, if I am saying your name right, or Melanie. Let's see. I'm new. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for coming. John says hello again. I remember from before. Rich says, I always have trouble with dynamics. I never know if I'm playing it correctly. We will address that today a little bit. Yeah, I didn't get a notification for the live stream this morning. Yeah, I forgot to send out. Well, it's only through the Academy page, Ryan. So you have to go through. When you log into the Academy, there's a part on the top part of the page where if you click on the calendar for that, then you can get a link to it, and only Academy students get that, so there won't be any notifications. I will set up a notification system for that, but it would be something separate than usually what the YouTube sends out. But welcome everybody. We will get started here in just a second, and you're very welcome. Okay, let's see what we got here today. Let me get this chord out of everybody's way. It's just crazy. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right, on with the lesson. So today's lesson is all about how to think about music more creatively. Now, before we talk about this, we have to talk about a lot of the elements that make music what it is, and I actually kind of call these basically the dimensions of music. And basically, I refer to it as that because these are ways that music can be measured, and music can change, and music can be observed. And you'll know what I mean here in a second. So one thing to think about is that when you're thinking about music more creatively, you should think about in terms of like a standard chord progression or anything like that. You should be thinking about how does the notes, pattern of notes, how the notes flow, how do these things contribute towards the overall mood or the direction of the song. So, when a lot of songwriters write a song, or composers, they have more of a, not an abstract idea, but they have more abstract in terms of music. They have more of an idea, feeling, something they want to convey, and then they put that into musical terms. And this is why some people are against learning music theory too much, because a lot of people get kind of sandwiched into this thing where you have to use standard chord progressions and you can only do this at certain times and things like that. And they kind of forget that part of the experience in creative, thinking is that you make up kind of new things, and you don't always do the same thing all the time. So you have to think about things in terms of how does it contribute towards the overall sound and feel of the song. Now, things to consider is like whether a song has what kind of mood it has. Is it a bright mood, a dark mood? Is it happy or sad? Does it move quickly or slow? And we'll talk more about these things as we get into these elements. But the first element we're going to talk about is pitch. So, as you know, maybe you don't know, but pitch is up and down on the keyboard. If something is lower in pitch, it's down here, towards that end of the piano. If something is higher in pitch, it is towards the higher end of the piano. Now think for a second, how does this contribute towards a song's sound? Well, for instance, if the song is meant to have a light kind of sound, like Furlise, even though Furlise is in minor, it has a lighter and softer sound. So it sticks around towards, like maybe the higher end of the middle of the keyboard. There are some parts even where it goes up a little bit higher. So it helps contribute towards this song's overall mood and feel. There isn't a lot of stuff going on down there, a lot of sinister sounding stuff, because that just wouldn't fit the song. However, certain songs do fit that a little bit better. Like Bach's Toccata in D minor fits that a little better. And if you don't know what that is, whoops, it actually starts up here. Like that. And that one has a lot of sharp dynamics and things like that, which we'll talk about in a second. But it uses a lot of range on the piano. It uses a lot of octaves, played at once in a harmony like that to contribute towards, that kind of dark, scary kind of sound of that song. Or something like the Pathetique Sonata, Movement 3, a little bit higher up the piano. It's also played a little bit faster, which we'll get to actually as our next point. So let's talk about the next point. The next point is rhythm. You want to think about rhythm in a lot of different ways, and that is the song slow or fast, right? That's probably the biggest way you can think about it. Does it have something that has a really brisk tempo? Or is it something that's a little more sluggish? And how do those things contribute towards the overall sound of the song? Is there something like, a very slow horse carriage kind of moving along? Or is it something, that races along really quick? Something like that. So think about also rhythm and how it contributes towards the feel of the song. If the song is a sad song, then you probably, at least at most parts of the song, don't want to go too fast, right? Since, I don't know, sadness just seems to have a slower connotation, at least for me it does, anyway, rather than running around all fast. Although I guess if you're anxious, but that's kind of a different feeling, at least for me. But yeah, if you're writing something sad, it's probably going to be on the slower side. If it's something from the Romantic era, like Chopin's Nocturne in B flat minor, it's going to have a slower tempo to it. It doesn't mean that there aren't notes that move fast in it, but overall it has a slower kind of rhythm, or the tempo rather itself is a little bit slower. It's a thing, upbeat and fast. So it fits the overall mood of the song. So once you start to understand how these things contribute towards the song, then you can think about music more creatively when you're trying to write a song of your own, or you're playing music and you're trying to kind of decipher maybe what the composer was going for at that certain point. So let's talk about dynamics now. So dynamics are how loud and soft you have to play, and it's pretty obvious how that can contribute towards the sound of the song. If something has soft dynamics, it's going to be soft, and it's going to be quiet, right? Maybe something, maybe first waking up in the morning, would use soft dynamics, right? And by that I mean Pathetique Sonata movement 2 is a bit on the softer side as well as the slower side. So it goes together very well. Now, does that mean that all slow songs have to be fast? Well, no. Of course, not slow songs. I meant soft songs have to be fast. But no, you can mix and match those. I can't speak today. You can mix and match those, but generally they will go together to contribute towards, again, the overall feel and mood of the song. So, if you're thinking about perhaps Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, that's going to be mostly on the louder side. Now, it does have softer parts. I actually don't know how to play it all today, so I won't play it for you right now. But it definitely has softer points and louder points, and definitely has a huge range. Beethoven is especially good at this. Huge range of dynamics to really give this feeling of power and might and very swings, like varied swings in emotion and mood. So Beethoven especially was really good using dynamics to convey, what he wanted to in his music. Okay, another one is articulation. So an articulation, if you don't know, is something like a staccato or an accent, something like that, or a slur, or play legato, or a mixture, something like that. So these are all articulations, and these are how you play the notes. So obviously, if you play, for Elise, for instance, and you play legato like you're supposed to, it fits the song. Now you can do it staccato. Oops. Oh, I played the right notes. Just not the same. Now, it doesn't mean that the song with staccato wouldn't be, any good. It probably would sound okay, but it would definitely feel different than. Whoops. Right? So it definitely matters what articulations you're playing. Short, for instance, if you are thinking, how do I put this into a song I want to write? Or something like that, or how might I see staccatos used in a song? Well, think about, say you're writing a song and you want to write about raindrops, something very short, right? Well, that matches the staccato. Staccato is very short. So maybe you write a song like, where it kind of like goes up and down a little bit, but it's staccato at the same time. Starts raining maybe a little bit faster. And then, maybe it starts raining louder. And then softer. Then maybe a little uneven. And then it kind of fizzles out there at the end. So that's how you can kind of apply these different ideas to songs you're writing. Don't think about, I'm going to use a 1-4-5 chord progression, if you know what that is, and then, you can think about it that way and use that as a structure, but you might want to think about really, in terms of chords as well. I guess I could have put chords here, number one on the list, but the chords you use in a song are also very important, and they contribute towards the mood. So you have, this kind of goes along with pitch, I guess, or harmony. So you have, major and minor. For major songs, it's going to be happy. Happy songs, you're going to have major. Sad songs, you're going to have minor. And then, diminished chords have a sinister kind of sound to those. So chords are very important as well. So if you're writing a song, think about, like, not in terms of just what structure of chords. Think about, how do these chords that I'm choosing, how do they contribute towards the feel of the song that I'm going for? If I'm writing a happy song, it doesn't make sense to do a 1-2 diminished 7-1 progression, lead tone 1 progression. If you, like I said, if you know what that is, but if you don't, it's totally fine, because that progression would definitely contribute towards an overall darker kind of sound. Even though it starts with major, probably be better to do something maybe, in this case, 1-4-5 for something that's bright and happy. Of course, it can have a mixture of moods as well, in which case you can kind of mix and match the chords, to your liking. But always thinking about how do the chords, the rhythms, the pitches, the dynamics, the articulations, how do these all fit the song that you're trying to work on, or the song you're playing, the song that you are trying to write. How do these things make that happen? Okay, a bonus one, it's a very important one, especially with modern music, is lyrics. How do the lyrics contribute towards the feel of the song or what the song is about? Look at the lyrics of a song and think about, well, maybe you shouldn't in today's music, but think about, what do these lyrics mean? What does the song mean? And how does that meaning of the song also match with the pitch, rhythm, and all the other things that we talked about today, the dynamics, things like that? How do these things all come together to make a story? Because when somebody writes a song, it's not just lyrics, although some, like I said, some music today, that's all it is, lyrics with like electronic sounds to it. But, it's not just lyrics. A lot of times artists will match these with all of these musical elements to create the overall feel of the piece. You can definitely mess this up in mismatching all of these things. Like I said, you can have a happy song with happy lyrics, but it's in a minor key. But it has a lot of minor and diminished chords in it. So you don't want to do that in most cases unless you're trying to write a song that's like kind of a joke or a parody or something like that. In that case, I could definitely see that. So always think about how do these things play together to make music what it is. Okay. Let's see. Ryan says, I was working all day, so I wouldn't be able to attend. That's okay. But even as an Academy student, there is not a prior notification. Yeah, not yet. So I will work on getting that in. You can check the schedule. Yeah, so you'll have to check the schedule for now. Okay, so if you guys don't know what Ryan is talking about, once the lesson is over, we'll get back to the topic. By the way, actually, while I'm doing this will be a good point, for you to jump into the conversation. So if you're watching this right now, what questions do you have about what we talked about tonight? We're almost at the end of the lesson. I'll do like maybe a little bit of a wrap up here about what we talked about. So do you have any questions about how these things come into play? Do you have any other things you'd want to add to the lesson? I love to hear that from people in our community, like, because sometimes you guys will think about something that I just didn't, something that like I would consider, but I just didn't in this case. I either skipped over it. So it's always great because I can make lessons even better using that information, and then we all inform each other as well. So think of any questions you have, leave them in the comments of the chat, and let me show you something real quick while you are doing that if you choose to. So if you go to my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, of course, once the stream is over or whenever you get a chance. We're not done yet is actually what I'm trying to tell you. So once we get on the main page here, there's something called Lessons on the Web Academy. So basically, what you get when you enroll in here are 17 courses, actually more than that. There's actually, I think, 19 now. Some of them are being finished, in development and things like that. I'm always making new courses. So there's more than 17 courses. They all have videos like the ones you're seeing on this channel. So if you really like the videos on this channel and the lessons here, you will really like these as well. There's the same kind of style with me and everything. And then there are also assignments and printable sheet music examples and activities to help you learn. There's also, like I mentioned before, an exclusive live stream. I actually don't even have that mentioned here as a feature yet because it's kind of new. I kind of like to work things out a little bit before I advertise for them. But anyway, we have, you'll get the videos, the assignments, the printable examples, and then you can learn a lot more about piano, and a lot more than just piano. So you can learn more about music theory, songwriting, rhythm, improvisation. I have a ton of courses on ear training. Well, I don't have a ton of courses on ear training, but ear training is part of it. I have a ton of courses in ear training is also in there as well. And then there's also a sound slice tool where you can kind of practice your music. And then I will also answer your questions via Skype. So check out that main page there if you want to learn more. You can also sign up for the newsletter to get a little bit more. But basically when you sign up, you will get this thing called, or it will be a page on the website, and it's called the sound slice tool. So there will be like songs that are pretty common most of the time that you can practice with this tool. So basically you can play back along with the tool. I don't know if you can hear it through the speakers, but anyway, it's playing through the speakers on my tablet right now. Maybe you can hear it there. And you can play along on your keyboard. Now, it doesn't know the input of your keyboard, but it is useful because you can set the marker to any point in the song. So say you really struggle, you can actually highlight a measure there. So you highlight that measure. You just practice it over and over again until you get it. So it's a useful practice tool. You can adjust the playback speed. There's like a light up keyboard as well, so you can kind of follow that if you wish as well. So that's a part of it, a little extra gem there for you if you enroll. But that's what Ryan's talking about when he's talking about the Academy. So let's get back here. Okay, let's see. John says, how do I start to create music? Okay, so I'll get to that in a second. I'll answer Rich's first because he's a little higher up. Do you play an accent louder than other notes? Yes, but only that note that the accent is on. How do I start to create music? So what I would do if I was creating a song for the first time, everybody has their own little methods, but what I would do is the first thing I would do is I would sit down and think, what kind of song am I trying to write? And then the first thing you do is plan, like, I want to write a song. And then sometimes, like, honestly, if you're hitting a roadblock, you can actually skip this step. And then after you make the chords of the song, you might have a better idea on what it's about. But I always like to figure out what the song is about first. And then think about what the mood of the song is. Is it a happy song, sad song, upbeat song, slow song? And write these things down. So as I'm going, I'm making a checklist. This is a sad song. It's going to be slow. It's going to have light elements to it, like it's a sad song, but there's maybe some light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. And then just jot all these things down and all your ideas down. And think about what kind of chords to use. Come up with your chord progression after that. Come up with a key. Some keys, look this up on the internet. I'm not totally versed in this. Some keys sound more sad than others, like some minor keys. They say the key of D minor is the saddest of all keys. They all sound very similar to me. They all do have a kind of different flavor, but I can't hear it as well as some other people can. So if you want, you can look up what key to use even. But even within that key, research what kind of chords contribute towards your overall sound. So I'm just going to make up a quick song on the spot using the little things that I told you. So it's going to be a sad song. It's going to be slow. It's going to have a little bit of light elements to it. And then I could actually come up with like maybe a melody. Like after that, you can work out a melody that you like. And then repeat that a few times, maybe like make little alterations to it. Then think about maybe like what kind of rhythm you want the left hand to do. Do you want it like chords, arpeggios? Do you want it have a rhythm to it? So as you can see, just by changing the rhythm, the left hand kind of gave it a different flavor. So think about those things as well. What kind of rhythms now? Now that you've come up with the pitches, you've come up with the harmonies. Now you want to come up with your rhythms. What kind of rhythms do you want to put with it? If you want to write a song in a certain style, research what rhythm patterns are common in that style. So if you're doing a reggae song, reggae has a certain beat to it, right? Or hip hop or anything. There's a certain kind of beat that you want to follow to match that sound that you want. So that's kind of just how I would get started. There's a little bit more. There's a bit more to it than that. Okay, let's see here. We have, thank God I found this channel, says Melanie. Oh, wait, hold on. Do I have to be an expert in music in order to create a well-written piece of music? No, you don't. You don't have to be an expert. Now, like if you want to be a professional songwriter and write for, I was about to say Miley Cyrus, write for somebody who's talented, and sorry if you're a Miley Cyrus fan, but say you want to write for a professional artist. So even Miley Cyrus's people who write her songs are probably talented, and they probably do spend a lot of time writing songs. In that case, you probably do want to be a good musician. But if you're writing song, you can write a catchy song, a good song, and you don't need to be a musical genius. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Melanie says, thank God I found this channel. Honestly, I've been trying to get better by practicing more and doing new songs, but I don't understand the basics, like how to play any chord as minor or major. Do you have a lesson for that? I do. I do have a lesson for that. I don't remember what it's called. So if you go on the channel, let's do that. But let me make sure I do this real quick. One of these guys. Okay. So if you go on the channel, you type in lessons on the web. You know where to find me, of course. There I am. And it says we're live right now. How about that? Okay, so you go to the channel and you click on search. And then you click on, actually, if you go to playlists, where is it? Major chords. Do I really not have one on chords? How to read music, how to learn better. I thought I had one. Oh, here it says learning chords on piano. It's right here. Right here. So if you go there and you click on that playlist, there's 8 videos there that can teach you about a lot of types of songs. All right, welcome anybody who is new tonight, or if you're a returning visitor, feel free to say hello. But if you just want to sit back, hang out, and chill, that's totally fine with me as well. But I always love to hear from people. If you have anything you want to comment on, anything you want to add to, or maybe you have a question, I'd love to hear them. Let's see. So Rich, sorry everybody. Let's see here. Have a listen for that. Okay. I've never seen that sound slice on the Academy. Looks interesting. I hope to check that out. Yeah, check that out, Ryan. I hope to add my little plug that I say every time, but I'm so glad I signed up for the Academy. I'm a complete beginner. He really is a Academy student. I don't even ask him to do this. So Ryan does every once in a while when he joins us. Does say, I'm a complete beginner, and it's been invaluable to me, and I'm learning a lot. You should really take a look, Melanie. Rich says, is it possible? By the way, if you're wondering about that, piano lessons on the web.com. Rich says, is it possible to get enough where you never have to look down? You mean never? Oh, so you always comment on me that I can, I don't have to look at what I'm doing. My note and chord reading is good, but I have to look down. It messes me up. And I have to look down at the sheet, look back at the sheet. That's very common in the beginning. It takes years to get away from that, actually, to be honest with you. Do your best with it, and I know this isn't like, ironclad advice, but honestly, it's something that I feel like in most cases works itself out with most students, but I guess I could give you some tips on how to make sure that happens. So you want to uh, basically, you want to constantly be practicing your note reading and chords. Your sight, you want to be sight reading on a regular basis. You're practicing your chords. I had a chord sheet. I made a chord video recently, actually. You can take a look for it. I don't know, but it was like an introductory video for something on my academy. And of course, YouTube's broken right now, and I really need to show you something. But I don't know. Maybe YouTube is now broken. Everybody, let's see. Okay. Maybe I had it zoomed in too much. Okay, so if you go down, it says Chord Trainer Preview. It was made about right after Christmas, I think. And if you practice those, that will make you a little bit better at those. Actually, if you go to the chord mastery one, right here, that one is good as well. But I think you actually attended that one, so you know that already. But anyway, the point is that you want to be practicing your chords and chord patterns on a regular basis. Even if you don't see them in your music too often, you want to be practicing them in all the keys. So you want to be able to your cadences. Yeah, I think you do this already, if I'm not mistaken, in every key, and get really good at them. Because then, when you see these patterns in music, you can look at the camera and not even have to think about it. Now, I do have to look when I first move my hand, or do I? Let's go and do the F sharp one. That's it. There, I got it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, John says, what is the prior knowledge that is needed to create an original piece of music? So things you have to know about. You have to know about the things we talked about tonight. That list that we had here. Number one, pitch. You have to know what pitches are. Rhythms. You should basically understand about rhythms. Simple rhythms, quarter notes, half notes, whole notes. How to count those in general was really help. Pitches, knowing like where the notes appear on the staff. You really need to know that. You need to know basic music theory about like chords, major chords and minor chords, how to make those. That's another great thing. You need to know basically what dynamics are. That P equals soft, F equals loud for forte, and things like that, and all the ones in between, crescendos. You should know about articulations like staccatos, and then legatos, where you connect them together. So basically, to integrate these into your song, you really need to know what they are first. So you need to know some basic music theory. I have a music theory course over on my website if you're interested, but that's what I recommend, is that you just learn about things I listed today, but you also want to learn about chords. So let me put the chords in here. That should have been the real number 2 here, and the rhythm should be 3. I'll fix the list when I post it later. But yeah, you definitely need to know a lot about chords, especially in chord progressions. Also helps to know about that as well. Okay, let's see here. Do you feel the keys to know where you are? Do you just know where the keys are? I kind of just know, but I can also feel. So let me see. Like, this is E, right? E major. Yep. Let's see. Let's see if I can find C sharp major. Got him. To tell you the truth, I kind of did that one just based on where I thought it would be, and then like as soon as my fingers hit the keys, and I felt that I'm hitting a black key here. I can feel that. I can also feel I'm hitting a white key here, but not only that, I can also feel that first black key next to it. So this is right next to it, and then I can feel that top, black key as well. So yep, let's see. Let's name one. Let's do an A flat major. How about? Got him again. So again, I kind of guessed, not guessed. I've been playing piano long enough that I know that A flat's right about there, and I put my hands there. Now I could have been wrong because I didn't really double check at all, but I could definitely feel that I had a black note. I had a white key that was next to a black note again, and then another black note. Let's do another one. Let's do a harder one. Let's do E diminished. Okay. This one's a little bit tougher. See, this one I didn't quite line up quite right. So yeah, I'll have to feel it out. And there you go. So the right hand I knew right away. Left hand I kind of just misfired, and then I kind of like, okay, there's the two black keys. So yeah, the answer is I definitely use the feel to find it as well. I tried feeling the black notes, but I still can't get it. I can't seem to get it right. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. I'm actually getting better at playing without looking, but I usually need to look as I'm usually changing hand position, but I can feel the muscle memory that I can feel the level of muscle memory that helps me to know where my hands are. Level of muscle memory increasing, that is. Does anybody have vids on them playing? I like to see other students play. That's a good question. So anybody in the chat or anybody watching the recording of this right now, leave, if you want, record a recording of you playing and send it to me through social media. So either Facebook or Twitter, or somehow let me know in the comments, a Facebook video or something like that, that you posted the video, and then I can go see it. I actually wouldn't post in the comments because YouTube might flag you as trying to do like marketing or something like that. So just send it to me through Facebook or something like that. And then if you want, I will share it with everybody on the stream. Rich actually did post a new video recently. I haven't checked it out quite yet. Was it? It wasn't Canon in D. It was Moonlight Sonata, wasn't it, Rich? So Rich has sent in a few recordings that if he wants, we can definitely. I think Rich, you even said that you wanted to do that at some point. Kind of go through one of your songs together. So we'll do that sometime soon. But it would be really cool to have other people join in as well. I agree with that. Okay. Let's see here. John says, what arpeggio books do you recommend? I recommend the Scales and Arpeggios book on Amazon. Rich also I think has a Hanon book with the scales and arpeggios in them as well. So Amazon, and then you type in scales and arpeggios, and you can see it's listed right there, and it looks like this. Actually, the one below it isn't bad either. So I get this one, and then the one below it by James Bastian, which is the one I had as a kid. That one's not bad at all either. I have no idea why the scrolling on the page is no longer working, but you can kind of see it there. It has a waterfall. There we go. So those are the two I recommend. The top one I think is a little bit better. Okay. Ryan says, which I've been meaning to do that myself to see my posture, see my progression, okay, or time. Recording yourself is good, Rich says. Felt my hand position was too low. Yeah, it was Moonlight Sonata. Yeah, Rich, I think you said that last week it sounded a great idea. I wanted to try. There are mistakes in it. Okay, Melanie says, I have, but they suck. I have a newer one where they sound better. I record my progress. Yeah, recording your progress and recording yourself playing every once in a while is a very good idea and a very good practice. I highly recommend it. Okay, let me. Okay, so if you. Let me bring this back up. Okay, so the assignment I have for you for this lesson is basically think about a song you want to write. So write, whether you actually write the song or not, I would kind of follow through with it, write as much of the song as you can. But what I want you to do is chart out a song you want to write. So basically what I mean by that is think of a mood that you want to convey. So, I want a happy and fast song. So you write down happy and fast. And then I want you to do, this is the most important part of the activity, is think about what chords, what rhythms, what chords in terms of major, minor, diminished, or augmented, really fit the song you're trying to write. What kind of rhythms fit the song you're trying to write as well? How do those contribute towards the overall sound of the song? So I just want to get you thinking in the right way about these and to get on your way, basically fitting these in and how to attach these ideas to the music itself. Tim, can you remember a lot of classical songs, or you need a sheet to jog your memories? Depends on the day. To tell you the truth. What? Please, this go away. I don't want that. Okay, Melody says she will post them as soon as she gets a chance. That would be really cool. I always love when people help each other in the community. It's really awesome. John asks, how exactly should I record myself? Should I record my entire body or focus on the camera on my finger position? I would say both. Honestly, I would record yourself once for the goal of looking at your position, your posture. Are you sitting straight up? Are you far enough away from the piano? Do you look comfortable when you're trying to play up and down on the piano? Are your arms too tight? Things like that. Look out for things like that. And then what I would do is I would record yourself again looking at your hand position, because those are two different things that I would try to look for. I wouldn't try to videotape them both at once like I do, like I could do that. Actually, that would be pretty hard for most people to do unless you have two cameras and a setup and things like that. But if you want one camera, do one recording, looking at yourself from the side, looking at your posture, and then do another recording looking at your hands. I was wondering, same thing, John. I'm thinking two cams, one on keyboard like Tim, one on the side. I mean, you could do that. You could do that as well. Rich says, yeah, you can put it to the side and do it that way. Melanie says, I usually record in a way where I show my fingers moving across the keyboard and my face. I don't know why, but that's fine. I think that would be okay. I was disgusted at myself when I saw my hands were so low. Yeah, so definitely want to record yourself every now and again. I think that would really help um, basically correct mistakes, especially if you don't have a teacher. But even if you do have a teacher, it really, really helps, because then you're more conscious of what you're doing. Actually, if you could put a mirror, maybe to the, not right in front of you, but maybe to the side, but to your periphery to where you can see, you could also do that as well. Excuse me, everybody. Starting to get a little worn out here. Let's see. Ryan says, so curious what type of cams, GoPro, camcorder, tablet, phone. Rich says he just uses his phone, but that's because I don't have anything else. But the phone is not bad. A lot of cell phone cameras these days aren't bad at all, especially, I would say the angle is the more important thing. Don't get me wrong, if the quality of the camera is really bad, then it does matter. But honestly, if you have like an iPhone camera, I think in most cases that would fit the bill. The only problem with that is getting it, unless you have like a tripod for it, which you can get those. It would be hard to position, I think, in a way to where you could see your hands effectively. You could always get a camcorder. I have a Sony Vixia, like the first one I bought to run the channel back in 2013. It's only been 3 years, which is crazy to think about. Well, it's really been almost 4 years. Yeah, it's been almost four actually. But back in 13, I bought the Sony Avixia camera. You can probably buy one of those today for really cheap, and they're not bad. I mean, they're not great either, but I think for what you're going for, you could definitely see what you're doing when playing the piano. So I would check that out as well. Yes, my setup is very nice. It took me a long time to figure it out. Although, if you were just doing the face and the piano playing, that wouldn't be so bad. And actually, now that I know how it's all set up, it's pretty easy to me. But at first, it was a little bit tough. Let's see. Thank you for the tips, everybody. You're welcome. Okay. Thanks, Rich. I have 2 GoPros and a Sony Handycam. So Sony Handycam would be good too. I thought that would be better than a mobile device or a laptop. I don't think to hold the phone. Record yourself before Sunday stream so we can see you play. I was going to set up with 2 to 3 angles and do a Skype lesson with the Timster. We will do that sometime soon, Ryan. I mean, you know what's going on with me, so we'll get to that whenever I'm feeling back to 100% here. I mean, I'm feeling better all the time, but I'm not quite ready to add the Skype lessons. But it's really cool that you're getting the setup for it, so that will really come in handy for sure. All right, any other questions or anything? I'm going to wrap it up here in a little bit. It's a great discussion tonight, so thank you everybody who's in and part of our community for being a part of our community. It's really cool that we can come together from all over the world and teach each other, really. I know I put together most of the lesson, but there's a lot of great comments and things that I get, and if you have any, please leave them. But a lot of great comments that I get that, really engage the conversation, really get me and other students thinking in different ways, and really shares information and great tips. So I just think it's really cool, the community that we built. So I just want to thank everybody before we go tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel and everything, and always subscribe so you don't miss out on the new videos that come out. We have new streams, by the way, and videos every Friday. New streams every Friday and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to learn how you can join us, there's a little tag there at the bottom of the video that says join us live, pianolessonsontheweb.com/community. That's where you can find out the basically the calendar of when we're meeting and what we're talking about. And you want to text piano to 43507 basically to get a text message reminder of whenever we are meeting. Tim, did you notice anything I can improve on? I'm sure. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Okay, let's see here. I show my computer can handle it. I think it will. Skype's not that hard. Rich says, Tim, do you notice anything I can improve on? I'm sure there's a lot. I haven't really gotten to watching the video itself, Rich. I just saw that you had posted it. Actually, I saw that you mentioned that you made a new recording, and I was like this close to watching it. I had to go to another lesson though, but I will get around to that very soon. And yeah, I'll give you a couple tips on that video. I'll leave a comment and let you know what I think. Okay, Ryan says, okay, thanks Tim, and thanks Rich and everybody else. Hope everyone has a great weekend. It's Friday night, baby. See you all later. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate the enthusiasm, of course. And then, yeah, Rich, I will leave a comment for you very soon on your video. And then anybody else, if you ever want, a comment or you're playing, in most cases, I will get to it. Just let me know, and I can give you a couple of tips. Yeah, you're very welcome, everybody. So we're going to meet again, obviously, on Sunday. I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent with the live streams. I think I will take maybe a week off in February. So I'll let you know when that's going to be. But for now, we are on track for Sunday. And then next Friday, for our community live streams once again. So I will see you all then. So everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you in a couple of days at the usual time. You know where to find me on the Lessons on the Web YouTube page at Fridays and Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check us out again then. Let's see. John says, stay safe, Ryan, and have a blessed weekend. Yes, you too. And then, let's see. Oh, Melanie is also still here. So bye, Ryan. And thank you for coming out, Melanie. Great to have you with us for the live stream, by the way. It's always great to have new members of the live stream. You're always welcome back, and I will do my best to remember you. Although if you show up usually more than twice, I usually can remember you then from then on. But you're always welcome to join us again. And thank you so much for coming out tonight. All right, Melanie says, thank you for the lesson today, and thanks for the tips. Rich, Ryan, Tim, have a great rest of the night, rest of the weekend. All right, you too. Thank you, everybody, for coming out, and I'll check you in the next lesson. Thank you so much.